Oh, what's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brandman Sean on a Saturday morning, and today I have to talk about something I didn't think I would be talking about, but there's a need. I sent an email about this on Sunday, and some other people have asked me to do a video about it this week. Shout out to Jay Scott. That was one of the people, if I can remember that name correctly, and it's basically net neutrality. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about net neutrality. If you guys do not know what that is, first, I'm gonna talk about this and the implications this means for artists and how seriously destructive this can be for those of you guys who are trying to come up independently. But before I get deep into that, I'm gonna talk about net neutrality, just explain what it is from a high level. But even greater than that, you're watching this video. This is the internet. So you guys can look up the details if you need some more details from to understand it. So high level, net neutrality. What does it mean? If you guys are using the internet, which you guys are, think about all of the websites you go to. What if the websites that you go to, a lot of these companies like Google, right? They could charge you separately for your access to Google. Yeah, you have access to the internet, but do you have access to Google? So if Google's charging you $15 a month or $20 a month on top of whatever your cable bill is just to have access to Google, imagine what that limits. How often do you go to Google on a daily basis? Or what if you're buying Google ads, right? So now you have to pay twice the amount. You have to pay for access to Google, and you have to pay Google for ads if you're some sort of business, right? So that's more cost from somebody like that. Let's talk about YouTube. They're owned by Google. We'll just stay with the same company. But imagine if YouTube had tiered access just for the normal stuff that you already watch. Yeah, they have like the YouTube Red and some other things that you probably aren't using right now. But imagine if YouTube tried to charge you to watch videos for stuff that you actually care about watching. Right, a lot of this stuff that you guys are watching and consuming on YouTube, or just a lot of the internet access, is a luxury. It's not a necessity. So imagine for all this stuff that you guys like to consume, and even some of the stuff that you need just to search for jobs, you had to pay for on the internet just for access to those websites. That's basically net neutrality in a very ineloquent summary. Also, imagine, so we got tiered access and just paying for access in general. That's more money on top of the cable bill. So think about the fact that you might not want to do that yourself, or might not be able to afford to do that yourself. So as an artist, you can't put your shit on the internet for people to see. And that's one of the biggest benefits of the internet, right? Instead of having to pay the cost of making a flyer and having to do the groundwork of going to city, internet allows you to really skip a lot of those steps, and for a low cost get in front of an audience and find an audience. That's just that part for you as an artist. But on top of that, imagine if your fans, right? There's a lot of fans who wouldn't be able to do that either. They wouldn't even have access to see you, even if you can get on the internet. For those who have the money to put their stuff on the platforms, they might not be able to access the platform. So you're severely limiting the fan base that you can potentially reach from using the internet. There's a lot of things that come from that, and we all know right now in the industry, a lot of artists are bubbling and getting, they're rising because of the internet. So think of all the implications and things that come with that. We're really giving a lot of power back to the record labels at that point. Record labels are already kind of, reinventing themselves and seeing power come in new ways. But we're really putting a lot of power back in record labels' hands, or just anybody with money's hands, like some sort of investors at that point. Why? Because, they got the money. And music industry costs a lot of money up front. A lot of these people that you might see that are indie, that especially if they're rising quicker and they don't have a record label, they got some kind of money from somebody, because the music industry just happens to cost a lot of money up front, right? You're marketing before you make your sales, as opposed to a transaction business where you might be making a sale, making money, make a sale, making money. Music business is a lot of marketing, and then you make sales, generally speaking. So yeah, that's going to be hell for a lot of independent artists. At some point, the way capitalism is set up, eventually somebody will probably figure out a hole or in this, you know, in the opportunities, and maybe create something that gives access for artists. But for now, it's not looking great. But again, the reason I'm even talking about this right now is I sent that newsletter on Sunday, December 14th, a couple of days ago. That vote that the FCC made, they actually said, okay, this is a thing. We're cool with net neutrality being repealed. We're cool with companies charging you for all the, you know, they're nickel and diming you for every little bit of access. They're completely cool with it. That's what they said. Now, luckily, the way the government set up, somebody else, there's another group that has to say, okay, you made that stupid decision, but we have to approve your stupidity. Now, if the other group decides to approve the stupidity and they don't say, nah, we reject that, then we have a bigger problem. But right now, Congress has to approve what the FCC just said is okay. So it's not completely a thing yet that you have to worry about, but it is something interesting that you guys should know is there. And it's, once again, another reason that you should have not only your own platforms and multiple platforms, and this is for the people who are, you know, got to a certain level, but always be cognizant of figuring out ways to maintain access to your fans, and just having multiple platforms, whether that's multiple websites, and then you got email, then you have, you know, being able to build a real ground network. All that stuff is long term. I'm not gonna talk about that because it's not, you know, super necessary for you guys at this time, some of you. But yeah, so that was covered on my newsletter. I'll put a video that kind of breaks it down a little bit more that I like, that I included in the newsletter. But once again, you guys can do hella research on the issue. This is the internet. And also tomorrow, if you missed that newsletter, I'm going to include it in tomorrow's newsletter. But I'm also going to include a few other highlights, because some people have joined the newsletter, you know, more recently, so they missed a lot of the newsletters from earlier this year. And if you haven't joined the newsletter, I would suggest you go ahead and join it, just so you can see some of the highlights of other popular news emails that were sent this year that people seem to like and give good feedback for. I'll put those links in tomorrow's newsletter. Other than that, it's Saturday. Y'all have a good day. Don't feel too down and afraid, but keep a tab on this issue. If it like goes that far, I'll update you guys on my thoughts on the situation. But right now, it's just interesting to watch. I honestly don't believe at the end of the day it'll be approved, but who knows? Donald Trump got elected. A lot of people didn't believe that, and we're in a society where anything can happen. But that's what makes life so interesting. Be cool. It's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. I'm trying to have a good weekend. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Happy holidays and all that good stuff. Peace.